Compact crossovers are massive business, and when Hyundai released the ix35 in 2009, it created big interest and an even bigger waiting list. It's also one of the models that really established Hyundai as a serious player, and now the ix35 has undergone a few updates. Yes, even though it was a fairly unique-looking thing when it first appeared, it still had to undergo the routine upgrade. The improvements include a new petrol engine, although what we're driving is the diesel version. Added to that are the usual styling bits that read like a veritable to-do list of automotive facelifts. New headlights? Check. New taillights? Check. New grille? Check. The ix35 also gets new wheels and roof rails, but the overall appearance is a mildly updated appearance rather than a wildly different look. It's kept to the same recipe that made it such a runaway success, and one that keeps it firmly in the Hyundai style guide. Strong, fluid elements and an aversion to anything that remotely resembles a straight line. Even if you're not a fan of the way it looks, you have to give it credit for being unique, even if it does follow all the others when it comes to its genetic makeup. The recipe for a compact crossover is pretty simple. The footprint of a hatchback plus the practicality of a sedan plus the looks of an SUV equals sales success. And that success is multiplied when you give it a very good spec list and a drive that's just as impressive. Our test car is the front-wheel drive diesel manual, and it really does offer a drive that, despite the need to shift gears yourself, is just about effortless. The 2-litre motor puts out 130 kilowatts and a rather large 383 newton meters, which basically means you've got power whenever you need it. It doesn't have the most refined soundtrack, but it's a small price to pay for such a drivable engine. It's also still very well spec'd and a great drive, but as good as it is, there is something wrong with it. And it's parked just over there. In an extraordinary stroke of bad timing, Hyundai chose to release their updated ix35 at pretty much the same time as Nissan launched their new Qashqai. Thunder stolen. This is the original. The ix35 might be popular, but they've sold 2 million Qashqais since it was launched in 2007, 20,000 of those in South Africa. Sure, it might have taken a bit of a beating from various manufacturers since it pioneered the compact crossover class, but you only have to take one look at this car to know it's got its mojo back. The second-generation Qashqai is a striking-looking thing. It may be a little generic from the back, but from every other angle, it's superb. As if it wasn't already completely obvious, this new one has been redesigned entirely. It's longer, wider, lower, and lighter than the first generation, and it makes an impact. Styling is, of course, a subjective thing, and there will be innumerable tweets and YouTube comments if I pronounce one car better looking than the other. But for me, the Nissan makes the bigger impact purely because it's taken such a massive step forward from the old one, which was quite simply a sand clog with wheels. I'm not sure what one would call the shape of the first Qashqai, but by comparison to this one, it was most definitely odd. The new front end, complete with LED daytime running lights, is the first indication that the new Qashqai is more chiseled, more modern, and more attractive than ever. Both of these cars have got a fairly somber interior with an almost completely black setup and minimal highlights, but they are both also very well spec'd. Got things like Bluetooth and USB and a touchscreen interface. They are also both comfortable and versatile. If you had to compile a shopping list, the Nissan would be the winner because of its slightly more generous amount of standard stuff, but it's not major. Both have keyless operation, a multifunction steering wheel, climate control, electric windows and mirrors, automatic headlights. The list of common standard spec goes on. The Qashqai does have some tech that is more bang up to date than the iX, a start-stop system for example, and a smartphone app that allows connectivity to the car's touchscreen system, which allows you to monitor your Facebook page, check your diary and other important driver-related activities. Space and practicality is an interesting one. The iX has quite an advantage when it comes to boot space, a full 120 litres. Picking a winner from a driving point of view is even more difficult. If we were playing a game of top trumps, the Hyundai would win because it has a bigger motor and more power. But the Nissan really scores because if you didn't know this was a 1600, you'd swear it was something a lot bigger. With 96 kilowatts, the Qashqai puts out about 30% less than the ix35, and its 320 newton meters is over 60 newton meters less than the Hyundai. Quite amazingly though, these two cars are exactly the same weight, but feel just as good as each other. Both have lots of good low-down shove and in-gear responses that make any drive a pleasure. I suppose another way to pick a winner would be to look at safety. Both cars have got ABS with EBD, both cars have got traction control, both cars have got 6 airbags. But the Qashqai has got an intelligent all-wheel drive system. Now the iX is available with 4-wheel drive, but that pushes the price up to 460,000 Rand as opposed to the Nissan's 410. As it is, the 2-wheel drive iX we've got here is 398,000 Rand. So if you aren't planning an expeditionary force through the Congo, you can save yourself 10 grand by telling yourself that 4-wheel drive isn't really all that necessary. And so it's time to pick ourselves a winner, which is not easy considering styling is subjective, the spec lists are similar, and the drives are almost identical. The upgrades to the Hyundai ix35 have made this massively popular compact crossover even more desirable, thanks to some styling and interior updates and some new engines. But the Nissan Qashqai has pretty much the same amount of space, some more up-to-date tech, and an all-wheel drive system for the same price as you pay for the ix35. That makes the Qashqai a winner on value alone. But when you take the package as a whole, this car is still the original and the best. The 1600 turbo diesel in the Nissan Qashqai is an impressive bit of engineering with great power delivery and good all-round ability matched to a solid 6-speed manual. It may not have the most interesting interior and generic rear styling, but on the whole it's a good-looking package with advanced interior tech, plus it's decent value. The Hyundai ix35's 2-litre diesel feels very much the same as the smaller diesel in the Qashqai, and it's no less enjoyable, although it's not exactly refined. The ix35 still has a well-kitted interior matched to a comfortable drive. The updates mean it's still a strong contender, although it loses out to the Qashqai in value terms.